So I think it's actually lost its function. I think it's become a show. Yeah. I think televising Parliament was a huge mistake. I don't think people should see their MPs or people in government as celebrities, because they're not. Most of them are, in my view, pretty average people. They're perfectly nice people, but I don't think they're exceptional. So I think Parliament's lost a lot of the basis, which I think structured itself so well and aligned the interests of not only parliamentarians, but also the front bench with the interests of the British people. And I argue now that most of the people in Parliament are serving themselves. They're not serving the British people.
I think...
And they're making a living, a professional living, and whatever it is, 92,000 a year, which is, I give to charity each month. I'm fortunate enough I don't need that. I'm not in it for the money. But I think a lot of people arguably do need the money, and therefore they become a hostage to the party, to the central planners, to the sort of the whips, and they're not able to pursue a path of individualism and challenge, which ultimately is what an MP should be doing.
It feels like Parliament has lost its true purpose. What once stood as the centre of British democracy has, in the eyes of many, turned into little more than a performance. The moment cameras were allowed to broadcast every move, politics began shifting away from substance and into spectacle. Turning members of Parliament into public figures, even celebrities, was, in hindsight, a grave mistake. Because here's the truth, MPs are not meant to be stars. They're not celebrities. Most of them, while decent enough people, are, as one former MEP bluntly put it, pretty average. Not extraordinary, not outstanding. Just ordinary men and women elevated into roles they often struggle to rise to. And that is exactly the point he was making. Former European Parliament member Rupert Lowe recently gave a raw and unfiltered critique of the political system that's now making waves across social media. He argued that Parliament has abandoned its foundational duty, aligning its work with the needs of the British people, and instead has become a machine that mainly serves itself. Lowe pointed out something many suspect but few in power dare to admit: too many MPs today are not there to fight for their constituents. They're there for the career, the salary, the status, and the perks. With annual pay packets of nearly £92,000, money that Lowe emphasized, he himself donates to charity because he doesn't need it. Parliament has become a place where financial security takes priority over independence of thought. In his words, MPs become hostages to their political parties, bound tightly by central party machines, planners, and whips. Instead of challenging the system, instead of questioning authority as representatives of the people should, they follow the script, obediently towing the party line. And the result? A parliament that, in Lowe's view, no longer truly works for Britain. This wasn't just an attack on personalities. Lowe was digging deeper, describing a political culture where the fire to serve the public has been smothered by personal ambition. His claim resonates with an uneasy feeling many people across the UK share, that Westminster has drifted far from real life. While families wrestle with soaring costs of living, while hospitals struggle under immense pressure, while the housing crisis leaves young people without hope, and while border concerns dominate headlines, politicians seem more preoccupied with climbing the greasy pole of politics than actually solving these issues. When Lowe described MPs as average, he wasn't talking about IQ or credentials. He was questioning their commitment, their courage, their character. Do they have the will to lead? Or are they just surviving in a bubble that rewards compliance and punishes conviction? The criticism hit a nerve because it echoed something that voters have witnessed for years: scandal after scandal. From MPs' expenses abuse to lobbying controversies, from mismanagement during COVID to broken manifesto promises, the British public has watched trust in Parliament steadily erode. Lowe's warning is stark: politicians no longer see themselves as servants of the people, but as insiders in a closed club. Protecting their own privileges, their pensions, and their status has taken priority over facing the real hardships ordinary citizens deal with every day. Some critics will call this rhetoric populist, or accuse Lowe of overstating the case. But for many, his words land with the weight of truth. Parliament, once a proud symbol of progress and democratic accountability, feels to many like a fading institution, a hollowed-out shell filled with individuals clinging to titles rather than delivering change. Whether you agree with him or not, one thing is undeniable: Rupert Lowe has just thrown a grenade right into the political establishment. And the reaction shows his message isn't confined to Westminster, it's being felt in kitchens, pubs, workplaces, and communities all across Britain. And that wasn't the only explosive moment to shake British politics this week.
Chamber sat next to Sarah on Wednesday this week when she asked the PM. By the way, his answer was awful, dreadful. He never even answered the question. He was banging on about spending and stuff like that because the man hasn't got a clue. But I sat there with Sarah. When she asked that question, there were sighs, there were groans, there were moans, there were complaints from the opposite benches and, unfortunately, those that sit in front of me, the Lib Dems, the Greens, and a few of the Jezzers lot behind me, the Gaza Independents, they were all groaning. And you know what? They are not in touch, Andy. Any poll that you do in this country would say overwhelmingly that face coverings should be banned.
I'm sure that it does, but I mean, I think the reason they were sighing is because it's this bizarre little culture war question when there are actual real issues in this country that, you know, Sarah was objectively elected to face. You know, that by-election win, that wasn't based on she wants to ban burqas. That was based on there are real issues in this country and people are, you know, reaching out to alternative parties. She should have been representing. Do you think the people of Runcorn deeply care about a burqa ban more than their bills?
So why were the 5 independent Gaza MPs elected then?
I think
was that based on local issues?
I think so, yeah.
Was it, Charlie?
No. Well, when you lose people like Jonathan Ashworth, who, again, totally opposes political views, but someone that seemed to be a good local Labour MP, ousted because of pro-Gaza.
Jonathan Ashworth, by the way, is not here to defend himself. He was elected many times in that area because of a certain demographic of voters. But it was the same voters that ultimately led to his downfall.
Exactly. And look, you know, the people in Runcorn, you know, to defend Sarah, I think will want to have a conversation about who's coming into this country, how are people integrating, whether it's in her constituency or yours or anywhere across the country, where you're seeing people that do come into the country from foreign countries that seem to get hotel accommodation paid for, they're coming in illegally. There are people that then are granted asylum that don't integrate, and that has
and of course, Andy, Charlie's right here, because one of the big concerns in Sarah's constituency, where I went to help a campaign, was illegal migrants in hotels.
Yeah, but that's a completely separate discussion to banning.
Well, it's not. It's not. It's all part of the wider discussion of, you know, people coming from different cultures, not respecting our laws, our way of life, our history, our heritage, and our culture.
I don't think the two. I think, you know, talking about illegal migration and legal migration is a very different conversation.
I'm not talking about legal migration, I'm talking about legal.
Well, I mean, you know, your party often talks about net zero migration, legal and illegal. So I think, you know, respectfully, Reform UK do care about legal migration, Lee.
Charlie.
Well, it's all about integration. It is all part of the same package, and it's a big question which needs to be asked about the burqa. Is, you know, if you're wearing a burqa in British society in our streets of Britain today, is that integration? Is that Western adhering to Western values? I don't think it is, and that's the problem. Whether you're a legal migrant or an illegal migrant, if you're coming into the UK and you can't speak English, that's a problem. That creates a barrier.
Let's call that to a close. You know, slowly but surely we seem to be giving our country away.
One thing's clear, whether it's Rupert Lowe questioning the very purpose of Parliament, or Lee Anderson reigniting the fire around identity and integration, British politics is entering a turbulent chapter. Both voices, in their own way, are challenging the establishment, poking at the cracks in a system many already see as broken. And with every statement, every headline, every viral clip, the gap between Westminster and the public seems to grow just a little bit wider. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more in-depth political commentary, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the world of power and politics. Thanks for watching.